They laughed when American GIs pulled out their new folding shovels. Later, those same soldiers watched in disbelief as the enemy used an identical tool to kill. This is the story of how one army copied a weapon perfectly, except for the one part that mattered most. It is about the difference between copying an object and understanding it. In 1938, German military engineers finalized a new infantry tool called the patton, a folding entrenching shovel. Folded, it rode flat on a soldier's belt. Locked open, it could dig through hard soil and roots without failure. But the most important detail was hidden in plain sight. The blade was designed to be sharpened, not as an improvisation, but by intent. The steel alloy held an edge without becoming brittle. The blade geometry allowed sharpening with a simple file or stone. The handle length gave leverage for digging and striking. Every dimension served two purposes. It had to dig and it had to kill. This design was born from memory. German officers remembered the trenches of the First World War, where rifles and bayonets failed in cramped, muddy confines. Veterans learned that a sharpened entrenching tool was devastating in close combat. That lesson never faded. German training manuals before the Second World War included instructions for sharpening and using the shovel as a weapon. American engineers later captured these tools and studied them in detail. In 1943, they produced their own version, the M1943 entrenching tool. It was nearly identical in size, balance, and construction, but it arrived with dull edges, and no one told American soldiers it was meant to be sharpened. Manuals described it only as a digging implement. The tool crossed the ocean. The knowledge did not. That gap mattered in Normandy. In the hedgerows, fighting collapsed into sudden, brutal encounters measured in feet. Rifles were too long, bayonets snagged. German soldiers expected this and carried sharpened shovels, ready for hand-to-hand combat. Most Americans did not. Some learned by watching the enemy or through bitter experience. Many learned too late. The lesson appeared again at Stalingrad. Soviet soldiers fought room to room in ruins where firearms failed. Their MPL-50 shovels, often sharpened on one edge, became primary weapons. After the war, the Red Army formalized entrenching tool combat training, including throwing techniques. American forces relearned the lesson in Korea. In 1951, Master Sergeant Benjamin Franklin Wilson was wounded, disarmed, and surrounded. He grabbed his entrenching tool and killed 4 enemy soldiers with it, saving his unit. Another soldier, Anthony T. Kaho'ohanohano, fought until his ammunition ran out and then continued with his shovel until he was killed.